Built in 1834, the Ohio Penitentiary was actually the second Ohio Penitentiary, the third state prison, and the fourth jail in early Columbus. Throughout its history, it had a poor reputation. The prison, built to hold 1,500 people, was almost always overcrowded and notorious for its poor conditions. In April 1955, it housed an all-time high of 5,235 prisoners. Most prisoners were removed from the prison by 1972 with the completion of the Southern Ohio Correctional Facility, and the facility was closed in 1984. The state sold the Ohio Penitentiary to the city of Columbus in 1995. On October 31, 1952, a riot broke out at the penitentiary, which required direct patrol involvement for 3.5 months. As the disorder unfolded, a number of buildings were set ablaze. This riot is often referred to as the Halloween riot. While the riot-damaged penitentiary is repaired, about 200 hand-picked prisoners with good records were moved to Camp Perry to be guarded. This 1948 photo shows Patrolman Curly Bennett at a staged vehicle inspection. This board was used by a driver license examiner from 1942 until 1950. Driver license applicants used a grease pencil to write their answers on the glass and then turned it in. Once it was graded, the board was erased and given to the next applicant. This item is on temporary loan from Skip Bennett. Here is a Handlin kerosene road flare smudge pot. It was used to alert motorists to the presence of road hazards. Now we use 30-minute red emergency flares. This colorized historical photograph is from the Ohio Historical Society. From left to right are Patrolman Paul H. Atzel, O.W. Merrill, Colonel Lynn Black, and Lieutenant George Mingle. This 1936 photo shows a patrolman giving a driving examination. Captain James J. F. Duvall from the 27th Academy class donated this soft leather helmet and mitten gloves from 1949. He retired in May 1979 after 30 years of service. The History Unit has developed a Following in Their Footsteps display case to showcase 3 generations of the Manley family: Major Donald E. Manley, Jr., Trooper Matthew M. Manley, Sr., and Trooper Matthew M. Manley, Jr. Here is retired Major Donald E. Manley, Jr., graduating on November 12, 1946, from the 21st Academy class. From the 100th Academy class, graduating February 4, 1977, here is Major Manley's son, retired Trooper Matthew M. Manley, Sr. And from the 152nd class, graduating August 30, 2012, is Trooper Manley's son, Trooper Matthew M. Manley, Jr. Patrolman Manley was promoted to corporal on March 2, 1953, sergeant on September 1, 1960, and first sergeant on January 16, 1963. On March 16, 1965, Manley was promoted to lieutenant and transferred to the Warren DHQ as commander. On August 11, 1968, he was promoted to major and named North Zone Commander in charge of operations within the northern half of the state. He was later named administrative assistant and held that position until his retirement on January 1, 1975. Trooper Matthew Manley and Ork from the Milan Post were the first turnpike drug-detecting canine teams. This October 1991 photo is at Ork's graduation from Firelands Kennel. Canine Ork won his Medal of Merit on January 6, 1993 for recovery of 38.6 kilograms of cocaine, which was the largest seizure in the patrol's history at that time. For this seizure, Trooper Manley and Ork also received a certificate of recognition. Trooper Manley retired on February 4, 2004, exactly 27 years after earning his commission. While working at the Fremont Post in December 2013, Trooper Matthew M. Manley, Jr. received an ACE Award for recovering 5 stolen vehicles with on-the-spot apprehensions. In May 1954, a home in Madison County was rented from George Wickline, who constructed a new 3-bedroom house at 104 Lafayette Street in London, specifically to house the patrol. This residence served as the county patrol post until a new post was built in 1974 in West Jefferson. Colonel Anson B. Cook was the patrol superintendent from 1964 to October 1965, when he reached the mandatory retirement age of 55. The London Patrol Post, former Post 49, was dedicated in his name. Looking over photo albums at the Ohio State Highway Patrol Academy are, from left to right, Captain William D. Broucher, former patrol pilot, Colonel Robert M. Caramani, and Ernest P. Webb, the patrol's first aviator. This case also holds many training and traffic safety manuals, immigration information, and an annual report from July 1968 to June 1969. Patrolman Carrie A. Sayers watches for disruptors at an OSU graduation in 1970. In May 1972, Colonel Caramani was the guest speaker at a graduation for Parkway High School in Rockford, Ohio. Fuel shortages required a significant change in how troopers patrolled the highways. Every field trooper was required to do 10 minutes of stationary patrol with the car's engine off each half hour. Ohio Police Magazine and Police Chief Magazine printed an article Colonel Robert M. Caramani wrote called "Let the Man on the Road Know Someone Cares." The officer on the road is our most important asset, and he wants our officers to know that we care. The Emergency Highway Energy Conservation Act prohibited speed limits higher than 55 miles per hour. The uniform speed limit was signed into law in 1974, requiring the limit as a condition of each state receiving federal funding for highway repair. The March 1975 employee newsletter featured the 1974 Patrolman of the Year and Blue Max Award winners. The Ohio State Highway Patrol Academy training calendar lists all courses offered to law enforcement agencies in the state of Ohio. These are signature block stamps for Colonel Robert Caramani, Colonel Frank Blackstone, and Colonel Adam Reese. This 3-ply carbon paper booklet was carried in each car with a patrol credit card to buy gas. It was phased out in 1980. This receipt book was used by Trooper Gil McCune. The start date for the first receipt was October 28, 1981, for a female deer that was killed during a traffic crash. This Selective Traffic Enforcement Program Activity Report from 1980 is no longer used. In 1983, the Ohio State Highway Patrol received this honor award from the United States Secret Service. These are signature block stamps of Colonel Jack B. Walsh. This display case includes several forms that are now obsolete: training and safety manuals, 1986 duty assignment sheets, a newspaper article, and crash photos. National Aviation Day is observed in the United States on August 19th each year to celebrate the history and development of aviation. It coincides with the birthday of Orville Wright. A recent donation we've received is this Cessna Skyhawk model airplane that is a scale model of one of our retired aircraft. The model was produced by a local citizen and aviation enthusiast. The first traffic arrest via airplane for the Ohio State Highway Patrol came on the July 4th weekend in 1952. The 1986 Certificate of Recognition was for completing 10 years and over 80,000 flight hours without a reportable aircraft accident from July 1976 to July 1986. Trooper Marla Gaskill obtained her pilot's license in November 1994. She transferred into the patrol's aviation section in December 1995 and became its first, and so far only, female pilot. She remained in aviation until December 1997. Also in the case are Ohio Aviation News from spring of 1996 and an OSHP aircraft accident record form. In March 2003, white Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor cruisers were issued with license plates reading 1-800-GRAB-DUI. The patrol switched to white cars to provide greater visibility and promote overall officer safety. The gray cars were replaced over a 2-year transition period. This Jackson DHQ post was opened in 1955 on Old U.S. Route 35 at Chillicothe Pike. It was demolished in 2003, and the newly built facility held an open house on October 21, 2005. The United States Department of Transportation awarded the Ohio State Highway Patrol for their commitment to removing commercial vehicles and drivers engaged in criminal activity from our highways in 2004 and 2005. The 2006 Ross County Fugitive Task Force awarded the Ohio State Highway Patrol for their assistance and support during the 2006 Fugitive Task Force. Also in this display case are several Ohio Trooper magazines and a 2006 IACP award. These two photos show Reverend Richard D. Ellsworth with his brothers and their dog Ruby. These photos show Reverend Ellsworth when he's not performing patrol functions. Reverend Ellsworth was appointed chaplain of the Ohio State Highway Patrol on May 24, 1991. This year, we are celebrating his 25 years with the patrol. This plaque, dated February 19, 1992, is from the board and staff of the Columbus Area Council on Alcoholism. The Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction recognized Reverend Ellsworth in June 2003. This 2008 award makes Reverend Ellsworth an honorary lifetime member of the Columbus Division of Police Honor Guard. This 2007 letter is from President George W. Bush. During the 2014 Patrol Memorial, Ohio Department of Public Safety Director John Bourne officially dedicated a new eternal flame to Reverend Ellsworth and Linda Ellsworth. This retired colonel group photo was taken on June 11, 2015. From left to right are Colonel John Bourne, Colonel Kenneth Marshall, Colonel Tom Rice, Colonel Kenneth Markle, Colonel Paul Pride, Colonel Paul McClellan, Colonel Richard Collins, Colonel Warren Davies, and Reverend Ellsworth. Reverend Ellsworth was a recipient of the Colonel Robert M. Caramani Humanitarian Award for 2015. Additional items on display are the Mayor's Medal from the City of Columbus, a replica of Ellsworth Chapel at Central College Presbyterian Church, and a replica of a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. The majority of items in this display case are from a recent donation received from retired Major Donald E. Manley, Jr. In 1948, Patrolman Manley became an academy instructor. Here he is training a cadet on the proper way to handle a Thompson submachine gun. These black and white baton cards were used for training purposes. The baton was donated by retired Staff Lieutenant Donald Anweiler. The Putty and Goggle Club had their first get-together on Wednesday, September 16, 1970. The group met at the academy every first and third Wednesday for an old-fashioned ham and bean dinner. The meetings were purely social in nature, and all retired members were welcome. While Prohibition ended on December 5, 1933, General Code of Ohio 6064 did not become effective until December 23, 1933. Included in the code was the creation of the Ohio Department of Liquor Control to oversee the production and sale of alcoholic beverages in the state. The Enforcement Division fell under then Department of Liquor Control and was charged with conducting investigations of licensed and unlicensed liquor sales locations throughout the state. The agents were also tasked with stopping illegal sales, distribution and manufacturing of beer, and alcohol for public consumption. In 1995, the Enforcement Division was transferred to the Ohio Department of Public Safety. Over the years, more enforcement efforts have been added, including food stamp and tobacco enforcement. In 1999, the Enforcement Division was renamed the Ohio Investigative Unit. On January 1, 2013, OIU was integrated into the structure of the Ohio State Highway Patrol. During the years of enforcing the state's liquor laws, the OIU has been involved in investigating and enforcing cases including bootlegging, moonshine, illegal gambling, drugs, weapons, underage drinking, prostitution, and tracing back the sale of alcohol after an alcohol-related crash. These scales were used to measure specific gravity of wines, champagnes, and marijuana, and of chemicals for the preparation of formulas. This July 1982 plaque reads, "The Ohio Department of Liquor Control expresses appreciation to the Highway Patrol Academy for your cooperation and helpfulness with our department's training programs." The Fighting 69th, a class of 33 cadets, was the first academy class to graduate from the patrol's new academy on February 18, 1966. The swearing-in of Patrolman Gilbert H. Jones and Patrolman Lee Peters, Jr. were the first African Americans to graduate since November 4, 1955, when Patrolman Lewis D. Sharp graduated with the 44th Academy class. In 1973, Patrolman Jones became the first African American Highway Patrol Sergeant and Assistant Post Commander at West Jefferson. He went on to be the first African American to reach each rank up to assistant superintendent as he earned promotions throughout his career. This photo of Lieutenant Colonel Jones and President Clinton was taken at the Clarion Hotel in Columbus on August 26, 1996. Lieutenant Colonel Jones retired on August 30, 1997, after 31 years of service. He served in the capacity of assistant superintendent for almost 3 years. Lieutenant Colonel Jones was Chief Deputy of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office Patrol Division from September 1998 through February 2014. This is part of an ongoing video series. As displays change, new videos will be added.